Everybody, welcome. This is the Man's Media Network, and I am the man. And this has been a topic that has been swirling and buzzing around me all day. And when I mean all day, I really mean all day. Now, this is a hot button topic, and this is regarding someone who, a man, a black man, a black male, who we have now come to revere in the black community. That's right, everybody, Kevin Samuels. And it's okay that we revere him because we should revere our black males and celebrate their masculinity. And we should see them as valuable, right? And that Brother Kevin has seemingly been doing some good work in the black community. However, is he a detriment? No, 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 no. This is not a woman's show. We're not here in the defense of women and the paths of destruction that they've been causing. That's not why we're here. We're here to simply see, is Kevin Samuels wrong? Now, I have my position, and I'm sure others have their position as well. And we're going to have a few special guests on the show, and we're going to break down the Kevin Samuels video, and we're going to talk about it. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
What's up?
Now we have past the $40 on the show on
Yes,
the
sir.
Media Network. Welcome, welcome. First time, first guest on
Thank
the
you, sir. Thank you.
Media Network, right? From the No Sweetheart Productions. Give yourself a round of applause.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing? How you doing? What is the conversation about to be about tonight?
Well, brother, we are covering, is Kevin Samuels wrong? And how do we as men think about him?
Oh, this should be a good one. Should be a good one.
Well, let's see. Kevin Samuels talks about women. Well, he's covering the base of women. I've been following Kevin Samuels actually since he first came out. And Kevin Samuels is part of a network called the Negro Manosphere. Now, I started following Kevin, because I am a cologne enthusiast, right? And so, I follow all of these type of fragrances and so forth and so on, right? And he came out fragrance guy, style guy, right? And then he started telling guys about their image and so forth and so on. And he's always been, to me, a clean cut brother. He don't strike me as, a brother from the streets, right? Okay. So he seems to become a big hit after a few videos talking to women about their height, weight, dress sizes, and how that's not appropriate and that's not what guys look for. And I agree, right? Also, that their level of education, it doesn't really mean too much, when it comes to a man choosing a mate. I also agree. But
That's
just like my man,
debatable.
but just like my man Big Daddy Kane said, you gotta have a brain in order to be with Kane. So you do gotta have something upstairs. So Kevin Samuels is on the path of do this is what men like, and women should do what we like because we control access to the relationships and they control access to sex. But what happens when that balance is thrown off? And what is one of those key ingredients that throws that balance off? Right?
Right.
And
What are those?
money. The one key ingredient that throws all of this off is money. Now, Kevin Samuels will say in his statistics, the average black man makes $41,500. But it takes a man that makes six figures in order to be able to afford to have children. So this means the average black male cannot afford to have children. Can I get a wonk wonk? So, what's the conundrum? When black women hear that the average black man doesn't have enough money to have children, she's going to kick in one or two ways. She's either going to accept the fact that she can't have children because we don't make enough money. The average black woman has an associate's degree that's only making $36,000 a year. Average black man is only making 41.5. Together, they don't reach the $100,000 mark, no children. So, even if you're married, no children.
That's what that sounds like because you can't afford it even together.
Exactly. So, scratch the Pookies and the Ray Rays. Scratch the single baby mamas. Scratch all of that. Scratch the home wreckers, the self sabotagers. Scrap all of that. So if a black woman cannot have a high value man, which he would say that's 1% of the black men. So it's about 20 to 26 million eligible black men, right? 20 to 26 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that's roughly about 200,000 black men, roughly about 100 to 200,000 black men who make six figures. You know what this equals? Financial genocide. So the question is Kevin Samuels wrong?
I think he's wrong by the economics of it. I've seen people struggle through lower tier, like make a whole lot less money and still be able to have family and be happy. When you start telling people that they can't afford to have kids, maybe they can't afford to have as many as they want, but they can still afford to have kids, because at the end of the day, I think that's a lot of the reason why we are here.
Now, a lot of our people, grandmothers, grandfathers, they had children, couldn't afford it. They were never told in a quasi type of manner, if you can't afford the kids, if you can't afford to help pay significant bills, right? So this is one of the reasons why the women are going to get the PhD. You know, I'm a PhD. I'm a PhD. They're going to get the PhDs in a sense of, I can help support the man. This is one of the things that I bring to the table. I'm going to help support the man in order for me to be able to have babies. See, a woman's biological clock is ticking from the time she's like 13 years old, when she first starts her first her first period, gestational period, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on that
Yeah,
word.
you can roll with that, brother. You can roll with that.
Okay. And so if her biological clock is ticking from that point, by the time she's 18, she has heard a slew of women tell her, get your education, baby. Don't let a man control your money. So she's been hearing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing that she's hearing is, wait a minute, is he going to make enough money? Is he going to make enough money? Now, the issue with a man, if he's only making 41.5, that becomes an issue of the man. But Kevin Samuels is saying, well, wait a second, that's only for the 1%er. So what do you think? Do you think he's wrong, Pastor?
I do think that's wrong, because if you have a bunch of women running for a very small particular guy, and they are told consistently that they are not going to get that guy, they will start looking for other guys, either close or in resemblance of this financial or security blanket that a lot of women are in search of. So it can tend to lead women really not to deal with brothers, because there's not as many brothers making that kind of money. So so women are end up saying, women don't like to compete at that level. At that level, they think they're the prize, so they don't want to compete at that level. And when you keep telling these women it's competition, 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 they tend to bow out or cheat by finding another way to play the game.
So let's take a clip of, I believe he shot this on the 22nd of July, 23rd, maybe. Let's take a view of this clip, and this is fair use, right? And let's see exactly what the advice is that he gives to this Black woman, and let's hear her out.
What do you think you'll be making
Probably over $1 million.
annually?
Yeah, because what I'm trying to do with mental health in our community, I think people are going to accept it when they do. And I'm figuring everything that I'm trying to do on the side is.
How many people or therapists make $1 million annually?
Well, aside from what I make right now, just at a job, less what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to work my job forever. So if I make almost
Okay, you can't even have the conversation. I just asked you, every question I've asked you, you just talked. I said, midway through your career, what do you think you're going to make annually? You're honestly saying, I expect you to be a millionaire as a therapist.
I'm serious.
Okay, good. Which fairy tales do come true, but that's not that's not the ma'am. I talk to therapists. I network with therapists. I work with psychiatrists, psychologists, PhDs from Ivy League, and they ain't making that kind of money.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't. I need you to listen. I need you to listen.
Talk to
Okay, there she goes. You're not going over. You're not. You're already on cue.
Oh wait, I'm not trying to be rude.
But what I need you to understand is you can't even. I don't want to talk about what you want to talk about. I'm talking about what I'm talking about, my subject, and I can't even get you to understand what you plan on making about halfway through. But let's just say you're making $1 million. Let's just go ahead and say it. You're making $1 million. Then how much do you want to get married one day?
Mhm.
You want children?
Yes, I do.
How many children would you like to have?
3 to 4.
3 to 4. And do you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant with your first child after marriage?
I probably will have to.
Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills?
Oh, you know what, Pastor? I think I kind of ruined that a little bit.
Yeah,
Let me rewind that back because I don't think this is what some little technical difficulty. I don't think the screen was actually sharing.
I think that's perfectly fine how you did it because I think that's fine how you did. That's you should do it that way. And that's
Which
fine how
is,
you did it.
were you able to see?
No,
Or
you was able to hear it. You was able to hear it.
Okay. So let's just go with the hearing, shall we?
Mhm.
Or no, I think that it would work better if we pick it up from this point and let's see the screen. I think it would work. So let's see what we have. Let's see. I think it's going to help the audience to see. So here it is, brother. It's Kevin Samuels. And she would be your average looking chick. Check out the glasses, bro. Check out the glasses.
I think she's below average looking for black women, honestly.
Okay, so let's say she's below average. What do you say? Kevin would rank her maybe about a 3, 2.
Mm-hmm. 3 or 2, yeah.
Okay. But, she doesn't wear any makeup. Her hair look like it belongs to her, right? But let's go.
She looks disgruntled there, but let it play. She might look better.
Yeah, let's just let it play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Annually.
Probably 80 to 100,000.
What state do you live in?
Texas.
$80,000 for 6 people.
I grew up in the country, so it doesn't really.
See what I mean? They don't know their caps, folks. See, this is a woman who says she thinks her plan is to make $1 million, but I got down to the real numbers of it. She thinks a man with $80,000 will be able to provide a middle-class lifestyle.
Why wouldn't he though? You said middle class.
Math. Because the average black man in this country makes $41,500.
With
The average. I need you to. Okay, obviously you don't know.
Wait, why?
So I need you to because as a therapist, as an educated woman, and you want these things, y'all should know this stuff.
But
You should know that it's impossible to have a man making $80,000 and then you not have to work. 4 children, you guys would be lit, ma'am. The average child takes about $250,000 from age 0 to 18. 3 children. And for you not to have to work to pay significant bills in Texas, you're talking about a man making about $300,000 to $350,000 a year. 4 children at another $100,000. You're talking about a man making close to $400,000, almost $500,000. Not 80. $80,000. $80,000 will not pay for 4 children. College fund, retirement, 401k, medical insurance.
talking about
Hold on, can you pause it there?
how
There's a couple of issues that I have with this. Often they say get with a man and stay with a man because of his potential earning. The fact that he starts at a 80, his potential earning is significantly higher than he's given credit for from the guy critiquing a guy starting at 80,000. Even a guy starting at 41.5 with no kids and just a woman, his potential earning is not at 41.5. I think the cap that he puts on our overall potential earning is very significant of where he sees a lot of black men being or seeing themselves in the future. He's only speaking to a specific small amount. So what is he saying about the overall black men?
So with his numbers, what he has successfully told this young lady, because she's 25, what he's told her was, listen, the average black man makes 41.5. And this black woman, she's a psychiatrist and she has a bachelor's degree. And we're going to crunch some numbers because Kevin Samuels likes the facts, data, and statistics. So we're going to go into that a little bit. I promise you guys, it's going to be a small education. Bear with us, but it's not going to be so much to where you're not going to be able to understand the logic. Now, she's not saying that she's looking for a high value man. She's willing to accept an average man who makes $80,000, and she's figuring we can make this work. 80 grand, take care of the 6 of us. I'll pay 20%. I can work in and out as a mom, right? I'll be married. Kevin Samuels has told her a man who's going to pay the lion's share of the bills will not be able to take care of 6 people.
Not lavishly.
Not in the middle class lifestyle. Not at all. And we're going to crunch some numbers and we're going to analyze this. Because, see, I believe all black people are right. It's just a matter of what you're right about. And you got to be careful with where you're wrong at. Because when you're looking at the numbers and a family cannot be provided for, it is not the onus of the woman, it's the man. And if a man cannot or does not have enough money to afford to take care of himself, which 41.5 is not enough money for one man to live a middle-class lifestyle. He's considered the working poor. That's what one person making 41.5 is considered almost impoverished. That means that you're one paycheck away from being on the street. And he has told this woman, a man, the average man, because she's not going to get a high value man because she's a below average woman. So she don't earn her SMV, sexual marketplace value, is not where high value men will be checking for her. So she only has a low SMV that an average man would be able to have her. But at 41.5, she can't have any kids. What do you say to that?
At 41.5, if she's making 80 grand and he's making 41, then maybe they will be able to have kids, but only maybe I have one, not four.
But the math don't add up because she got a bachelor's degree.
Then they have to pay for her to go back to school, which is more debt.
Now, this type of situation is driving Black women into masculinity, don't you think?
Yeah, because they're trying to figure out a way to provide money that they don't have.
And provision is whose problem?
Well, it has fallen
Whose
on
job
the
is that?
hand. It's fallen on the hands of man a lot.
Exactly. So Kevin Samuels is essentially saying she don't have a man. She got a boy. Men make six figures. High valued men. Hey, she was willing to settle for a Henry. What is a Henry? A high earner, not rich yet. She was willing to settle for one of those.
Yeah.
Let's listen to Brother Kevin.
Or for them to go past. Because
Like I'm going to have a conversation with the audience. Okay, see, this is why women don't understand their caps. They don't understand their caps because they don't even understand how much money a man needs to make. They don't even understand what they're asking about. So it's all fantasy. It's all fantasy. It's all fantasy. It's all fantasy for women at this point. Because I can't have the conversation with you, man, because I'm talking at a different level of understanding. I'm talking about calculus. You're talking about arithmetic.
I'm not, I'm just asking you to.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and have the presentation. All right. See, I couldn't even get to where I need to get to with her. And at the end of the day, like it or not, I can still do this. That woman still wants a man to pay 70 to 80% of the bills. That's still a provider male. That means if you have a 4-leg table, 1, 2, 3, a table can stand with 3 legs. Black women in particular, don't want their money to impact the family in any kind of way. That means as a husband, you were going to have to pay the lion's share of the bills for a lifetime. That is still a man in the top 80%, even at $80,000, even at 80,000, which is a ridiculously low number. Only 15% of Black men earn that amount of money. And the ultimate question is, if 100% of women want men in this area, can you get one? And the answer is no. That's what it comes.
So there you have it.
She can't even get an 80,000.
She can't get an $80,000 man. So what is Kevin Samuels talking about here?
They need to give up.
He's talking about the genocide, financial genocide of Black people. Do not have children because you cannot afford them.
Yep, pretty much.
This is the rhetoric that he's spewing out. This is another reason why the women are up in arms. Now, ladies, this is not your show because you are not absolved of your behavior. Just because you work, that does not mean that you should mistreat Black men. Just because you pay some sort of bills, that does not mean that as a culture, as a group, you have the right to destroy everyone else's lives around you. That does not mean that your behavior is not excused.
No, it's not. But if you look at it, only a certain amount of Black people will be able to reproduce, and we already see a lot of those people not reproducing with Black people.
And that's the issue. Black males cannot afford to have a family. And black women are trying to compensate for that in terms of helping. That's nature, according to the Bible. Black women are a helpmeet. And a woman is a helpmeet to a man. And the issue here is black women are trying to help meet the needs of the family. And what he's saying is this. You, look at him pointing. You cannot have a family because it's going to take $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in order to be able to have the children and to live a middle-class life.
Pretty much.
And he said that's only 1% of the men.
So that
This is not Pookie and Ray Ray we're talking about. We're talking about an average man. So we're going to crunch some more numbers, but let's hear more because this is not a fluke that he's saying this.
Comes down to because your SMV, height, weight, dress size, what do you look like? Fresh face out of the shower, no makeup, your natural hair is average. You can get a man making about $40,000.
Wait a second. You can get a man making about $40,000. But she's a woman who wants to increase the Negro population. She wants to be married. She wants to increase black people. But she can't have the kids because she's average. So average people should not be having children. Only the 1%ers.
Yeah, that's like a fourth. It's like a fourth industrial wave revolution of only certain families, certain bloodlines, certain people can have families based off economics and epigenetics and genealogy. It's a very weird science.
This sounds like eugenesis to me. This is what this sounds like. I don't know. Let's keep listening.
41,500 is what you get as an average woman, no matter how you slice it. So this is what I want you guys to understand. That conversation is the problem because so many women today are in another world when it comes. It is all theory and wishes. I can make $1 million as an effing therapist.
Wait a second. Theories and wishes. Is it a theory or a wish that a black woman should want to increase the Negro population in America?
Well, he's making $1 million. He's making $1 million pretty much off being not even a therapist, but a naysayer. So, you know, he really is making $1 million off just being a so-called therapist, image consultant, naysayer of them having kids that they can't afford, I guess.
Well, let's say he's an image consultant. Let's go with that. Is he trying to say that average people, average black people who are having average babies, is that destroying the African American image? Is he saying that the bottom of the gene pool need to be wiped out and don't need to reproduce anymore? Because what he's not saying is, hey, fellas, this is what we should do. Let's go after making more money. The average wage earner, $41,500. How about having an average black male wage earner make 6 figures? He didn't say, ma'am, here's what we're going to do. Because we understand that you want to have babies. Let's plug your man into a system to where we're going to push that he's going to make 6 figures because we want those babies to be born and be well taken care of. What's wrong with that, Kevo? See, that's naysayerism that equals genocide. In the 80s and the 90s, on the Jesse Raphael's, on the Phil Donahue show, and on all of these shows, they talked about men not being able to take care of their kids, so they shouldn't have any. And the women that have these babies. Let's listen.
Paging Jen London Esquire. I need you guys to understand. This woman said, I think I'll be making $1 million because of the businesses I want to.
Now, this woman knows she's going to need a lot of money to take care of these kids. And you can look around and she can say, well, I don't have any suitors that make 6 figures. So let me come up with some other delusional, bright idea, grandiose idea that's going to hopefully allow me to make some money so I can have babies.
That would include divesting, finding another mate.
But let's get into it some more.
So now you Dr. Phil. This is why so many women are lost today, because they've never had to sit down and understand how much money is because they go to school, they can run up all this student loan debt. But see, most women are living, just running up bills today, and they think somebody's gonna come pay it later on. I'll get married and he'll take care of it. Ladies, that ain't gonna work. Just like that woman I talked to yesterday, who got $100,000 in student loan debt and over $150,000 in consumer debt. And she got an English degree and a math teacher in her mid-30s.
So what if a woman doesn't have a degree? And we're going to look at these numbers as well, because it's turning out Kevin Samuels is wrong when it comes to Black families, when it comes to making children. Oh, out of 100%, he's 99% wrong. That 1% that he's right, women should not be, and we're going to talk about the height, weight, dress size issue, because that leans toward another man's issue in the community, right? Would you agree or disagree with me past the $40?
I disagree because there's so many more options that we have, but then that option is also part of the problem that you see, but I don't see it as a problem.
Okay, well, we'll look at that as well, but let's continue, because as we can see within the first 12 minutes and 9 seconds of his talk, he just admitted all but to genocide of the Black family, right? The destruction of the Black family, because that's only for the 1%ers. Let's continue.
30s. Y'all got a reality coming. The reality is you're going to work. Most women, 72% of mothers in this country work full or part-time. Unless you're a bona fide 8, 9, or 10, according to what we as men think, not what you think, according to what we as men think, you can expect to work the rest of your life, married with children.
Okay, but then let's examine that, because she said that she's even willing to work. But even if, because she don't make the $1 million, so even if she's willing to work for the rest of her life, what he said was, you don't make enough money. All right. So let's go into some numbers. Let's get into some actual numbers, because my man Kevin Samuels, he likes facts, data, and statistics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get to him, shall we? All right. The Black women and the wage gap. And it says, today this means that Black women in the United States who work full-time year-round are typically paid 63 cents for every dollar paid to a white non-Hispanic man. The wages of Black women are driven down by a number of current factors, including gender and racial discrimination. So even if Black women went to work, this means, Black women, that you're not even going to be making a whole dollar. And I'll explain. So if you come down here, it says overall women employed full-time year-round are typically paid 82 cents for every dollar paid to men. This is something called the wage gap. And this is Black women, including white women and all women. You know, all right. So we have this thing called wage gap, and you can see on payscale.com the disparities, right? And how we are the highest unemployed, the highest group unemployed, 2020, just last year. Our unemployment rate, 12. Black men are 12% unemployed, the highest in the country. If we look at a Black woman's earnings compared to white, non-Hispanic men. Now, this is shrm.org. If you guys need a reference. A Black woman who does not have a high school degree or diploma, she's going to make $21,000. You see that, Pastor?
I see that.
Despicable, especially when you look at a white male who's making $36,000.
But why should she be compared to a male?
Well, if she's able to do the same job, we should be getting paid the same wage.
But is she doing the same job?
And I can understand that there are a lot of factors that's in there, right? But this is just the wage gap. And we're going to show you the reason why Black women should not be going after these higher degrees and how it becomes a problem in the Black family. If she gets a high school diploma, she's still going to be making $15,000 less than the white male. If she gets an associate's degree, it closes the gap a little bit, but she's only still going to be making 67 cents on a dollar. But as you get to making advanced degrees, according to a white male, these advanced degrees, if you see, she's going to be making about $30,000 less with an advanced degree as opposed to a white male. Even with a master's degree, it almost jumps up to almost $40,000. Black women, you cannot win because the game is not designed for you to win at all. Look, I don't want to preach at you guys.
So
I just want you guys to see the numbers.
All these degrees ain't helping them, huh?
These degrees are not helping at all. At all. Only thing it's doing is causing more problems than you think it's solving. Now, this is blackdemographics.com. This is where Kevin Samuels liked to quote his facts, data, and statistics from. I think we're glitching a little bit here. But now let's take a look at this. The African American income, men, and this is the median weekly earnings. This is the average man, right? A man 25 years and over, he's making about $900 a week. A woman is making $800. A black woman makes $800. Now look, all other races, they're making $200 more a week. Now this is from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. This is the first quarter of 2021. First of all, we're not even making $4,000 a month, let alone 10. And there are guys in the black and the Negro manosphere that understand this. Look, fellas, our white counterparts and all other races make 200 plus more a week than we do. So we're losing $800 a month. So we're losing like $10,000 a year. Couldn't you use an additional 10 grand a year, Pastor?
I could definitely use another 10 grand a year.
To do what, maybe?
Probably start another business or get into another probably get into something, definitely invest or get into another business or another something that can make me more money.
Now, as black men, you should be pissed off, and I'm gonna show you why here in a minute. Black women over the age of 25. The reason why they use the number 25 years is because that's the years, the age when women start going through a process called nesting. And they want to build this hurricane-proof nest. But they realize themselves that they can't do it because their female counterparts make about $138 more a week than they do. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. When there's a money issue, that's a man's issue. When there's an issue pertaining to wealth, resources, and power, that's a man's issue. Women like to get involved, but it's a man's issue nonetheless. Okay.
It really is a man's issue.
Now, let's take a look at this. The black household income from 1967 to 2018. This is the presidents: LBJ, Nixon, Ford, my man Jimmy Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, George, was it GW, Obama, then Trump. Now let's look at this for a second. Take a look at this number here. The average black household income. You see how it rounds about the 41.5 that Kevin Samuels was talking about?
Yeah.
Now look, if you guys can see real close, it says all of USA. They make 63,179. And that light gray area, this is the rest of America. This is a man's issue that men are refusing to solve the problem for. And Kevin Samuels is refusing to listen to women and saying, we are reacting to your shortcomings.
Oh, brother, that's wild. But I feel like the brothers that could handle that, the top 20 to 30%, do date out.
And now you see why black women are saying, he's dating out. He's giving up. Well, no wonder why he's dating out and giving up. He don't want to deal with the real issues. He's taking an easy way out. Are you black men taking an easy way out?
Well, you know what? I did.
You did. Let
I
us
don't
hear
think
about it.
I don't think it's an easy way out. I think it's a realistic way about it. I think that you see that you're making money and you see that other cultures you could build better maybe with other cultures with less issues. So you just deal with those cultures and their women. I don't think it's really an intentional bad thing. It's just the path of least resistance.
Okay, so let's look at this for a second. Let's look at these numbers from 1967 to 2016. Now, this is the wealthy. Now, this is black people, both black males and females. These are the sources: the Census Bureau, the current population survey, so forth and so on. Just go take a look at it. But hit up blackdemographics.com, donate. I'm not getting paid for them. I'm just simply saying they're doing a job and trying to keep up with us. Let's support them. Now, if you look, it wasn't until 1990 to where black people start making $200,000 and over. And they were at 0.7%. Fast forward to 2016. We're at 2.7%. So black people that's making $200,000 and over at 14%. That's both male and female. Wait a second. There is something that I want to do here. Okay. Here's the most current. It says 2018. Okay. Because the last one stopped at 2016. There was some number corrections, but here's 2018. Now, if you look at the 2018 numbers, the middle class is what number? Help me out here. The middle class numbers here starts at $50,000. Kevin Samuel said that the numbers at $50,000 was not able to provide a middle class lifestyle. The young lady said $80,000. $80,000 is enough to provide a middle class lifestyle. Kevin Samuel said wrong. But this number say 50 to 80 grand, 50 to 150 grand.
Not for 4 kids.
Not for 4 kids, but that starts the middle class lifestyle. But you are right. So
They're
let's
probably not going to acquire all 4 kids at one time. So there is room for progression as the family grows.
Right? But let's say she's making 50, he's making 50. Right? Does that necessarily put both of them into a middle class lifestyle?
Oh, it puts them at to a mid-high middle class.
It puts them to an upper middle class lifestyle. But here's the issue. The average black man by himself is the working class 41.5. 25% of African American males will fall within this range, according to this number. That means that the below average, the 15 to 25K and under, they are the working poor and impoverished. But you're telling our women we still can't have any children because although we're married and don't make enough, shouldn't have kids. Now, the median household income, 43,862, with everyone else making 65 grand. Now you see, Black people, what our problems are inside of our own households. We're making less money simply because of the color of our skin. And Kevin Samuels doesn't want to say anything about it. Now, if you can see the single woman had family income, right? Right? This is Black women making 35 grand. So Black women have to pay significant bills. They have to work, take care of children, keep the house, take care of the man, and do all this other stuff. Now you can see Black men why women are more masculine. They have to do your job and their job too. Wouldn't you say, Pastor, that they're more like a video game that's glitching?
To a certain extent, this can be argued that they are compensating or trying to figure it out, but at the end of the day, they're still doing it. So therefore, or attempting to do it. So where is the issue at? They said they were strong and independent and they could do it. Right?
Okay. So let's say that they are strong and independent and they can do it. Let's just take that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to put them into a masculine role. So instead of Black men saying, wait a second, I need to make more money. And they're working a job and they're stopping me from making money, right? Why don't I go and negotiate my contracts? Why don't I go and force them to pay me more money? Let's run into some more statistics, shall we? Look at these staggering numbers. And let's just talk about male and female wages. And let's talk about Black men versus the rest of the men and Black women versus all other women. Now, here's the issue. Even with Black men with advanced degrees, right? Let's just look at the advanced degrees. Because these are the high value men, the Henrys, right?
Well, I guess they're the ones that are going to eventually have the opportunity.
Okay. So let's look at this. And a Black male with an advanced degree makes $1,295, $1,300. And all the other men with the same advanced degrees are making about $400 or $500 more per week, according to these numbers. So, and this is 2018. So let's say black men are, if we're looking at all the other men, because he's saying that our women have a problem with having babies. Well, as a black man, you're going to need resources in order to have her feel a little bit more secure, less stress, to have more babies. Even with an advanced degree, you're leaving $500 on the table a week.
Yeah.
$2,000 a month. $24,000 a year.
That's a car.
Question, Pastor. Is there some? Can you use $24,000 more a year?
Yeah, that's a car. That's a good investment.
Over the course of 5 years, that's $100,000. And black men are losing because of the color of their skin.
I don't think it's technically 100% there. I do think we probably need to invest more into these fields so that we could have more representation.
Okay. I can dig that. Invest in what? With what money?
The money that we do
How?
have. The money that we do have.
We don't even have enough money to have kids.
Well, that's debatable. Correct.
So let's even say we take our predecessors, shall we? Our predecessors had a lot more kids with a lot less money.
Yeah, but they lived in a cheaper society too.
But comparable, they had less. But we're going to take a look at that as well. But let's take a look at black women and these advanced degrees. If you look at how much money you make, even with an advanced degree, you're going to make a significantly less amount of money than all the other men in this country. Meaning this, ladies, no matter how masculine you start acting, you will never make as much money as a man. Stay feminine. That's what men like. Soft women. That's what we like. But we're going to go into some more. The advanced degrees. You're going to make about $1,100 a week. You're still not making enough money to have a family. I can understand why you're looking for a high value man, because you think that he needs to have the money.
Mm-hmm.
But what they're saying is, and he doesn't. He doesn't have the money. This is the reason why the girls are going after the actors and the entertainers and so forth and so on, because they have the money.
They don't need the money.
What you say? They don't need the money, huh?
No, they don't need that much money.
Now, here's the trip. Because there was a couple other things that I was looking at earlier today. Because when it comes to black men, it doesn't matter about the attainment levels. Oh, here's an interesting one from the New York Times. Black workers stop making progress on pay? Is it racism? This is a black man's issue. But the economists are grappling with how much to blame bias or a changing economy for the widening wage gap over the last 40 years.
Mm.
See that?
Well, they say that the black men are missing part of the economy, right? Where all the black men gone, so we're not even seeing the numbers to be a part of this economy to be missing these numbers, missing this money, because we're not there. Just the numbers. Period.
I most certainly agree. Now let's take a look at this. Facts, data, statistics. This has been reported by the New York Times, published just June 28th, 2021. It was just updated at the beginning of July. Here, let's take a look at this. In 2020, just last year, the typical full-time black worker earned about 20% less than the typical full-time white worker. This is the reason why women are upset. This is the reason why our communities are failing. Here's what this means. You show up to a job to make $100 with a white person. You're going to walk away with 80. They're going to walk away with 100 simply because of the color of your skin. For all of you people who are saying white supremacy racism does not exist, prove it.
It exists because I think you allow it when you ask someone else to pay you rather than having your own to pay others with.
We are in a white economic system. We must understand that. But have black males actually laid the fight down and are willing to take less? What do you think? Are they willing to take less?
I'm thinking they're willing to make less work. I think that yes, do we make as much money per hour? No, but what we do have, we make it work to a very sufficient amount to live a productive life, I believe.
Okay, so check out these numbers, right? So the median earnings for black men in 2019 amounted to only 56 cents for every dollar earned by a white man. The gap was wider than it was in 1970. Facts, Kevin. Data, Kevin. Statistics, Kevin. Understand something. 50 cents on a dollar is what the brothers are making. So, a white man and a black man shows up on the same job. The hand of the shovel, dig a ditch. White man gets paid his $100. Black man gets paid $56. Now you see what's going on here? I hope you do. Black men cannot afford to have children because it's genocide.
I think what's going on is the top 20 to top 30% of black men are going to be having kids still. The higher earning black men are still going to have kids, but it's probably not going to be with they may not be with black women. And I have a theory that I'm not going to say my theory on your channel, but I have a theory. I have a theory about all of that.
Well, go ahead, fire away. Let's hear your theory.
I just think that through like epigenetics and like eugenics and all of that, I think that white women have been birthed in the black community, or probably the upper echelons of the black community, for a long time. I don't necessarily mean that as a racist thing, but I think the top percentage of black men have married. A lot of them do marry out, and if they do have kids, their kids are given a better environment for their epigenetics, and they're also given economic. I mean a higher, superior economic standing than other black kids. So I do think that when those guys date out, white women do birth the new higher echelon black community.
Just real quick, can I go into a little bit about what epigenetics is and all of that good stuff?
Well, epigenetics is the belief or the scientific theory that um, genes genes are just a foundation, and a foundation can be built upon. But if you give the DNA the chance to do an RNA type move where it replicates replicates itself, it doesn't have to replicate itself in the same bad manner. You can change the environment, change the diet, change the projection of how the DNA works through RNA, and it just starts to make a brighter person, or they start thinking better and they start living better based off the fact of their environment starting to make their genes turn into a epigenetics. It helps the genetic pool doesn't stay. They said a foundation is able to grow and expound on, which is, I don't really know if that's true, whether this the mind changes and just have a different change of mind, a different synapse. I think it's more of a synapse of the mind rather than epigenetics. But however, this is a reason for them to say that the genes will not stay the same, and that the genes can be changed with different environment and different culture and different diet. And a lot of times, if you're not finding that in your own culture, you'll find that in another culture. So epigenetics, to me, is still under the umbrella of eugenics. Still, to me.
Okay. So when we're looking at black marriages in 2017, 85% of the black men have a black wife. 93% of black women have a black husband.
But that 15% I think that's a small number. First of all, that 15% that they're talking about walked away are very high earning black men. And there's probably like another 15% that are very well earning black men. So that 15 is very diluted. It's probably a little bit wider than that.
Okay. So let's even say. But here is what I'm saying. Black people prefer to be with each other.
No, they don't. I don't believe that.
We're marrying each other. Take a look at it.
We're
85% of black men have a black wife.
Those people don't have as many options. When black men are given the options economically and socially, yes, they will date out.
Okay. So let's look at interracial marriage. Black men and black women that have white spouses. They have 409,000 black men that have white spouses, and not even 175,000 that have white spouses. That's a relatively small number in the grand scheme of the 45 to 65 million blacks that are supposed to be here in America. It's a drop in the bucket.
But that 500,000 is where a lot of your wealth is at. It's not a small number at all. That's a very,
So what are you
very.
saying? So what are you saying? The
It's,
black
it- So
the
it's
black
small.
dollar, the black hold on, the black dollar in terms of the black man, is it going to white women?
The upper echelons of it, yes. White and Latino women, yeah, I believe. And I'm not just saying that personally. I just that's just what I've honestly think and see. I don't see many doctors and lawyers. I see a lot of black doctors, lawyers. Any guy that I know that's making over 60 grand a year, I see looking at dating white, Mexican, or even Asian women at this point. I don't see them really chasing black women like that. I see other brothers. I see very few brothers that have 60 or more $1,000 annually being made chasing black women. That's just me personally.
Now, sure, we all have our anecdotal experiences, but let's take Brother Kevo's approach. Facts, data, statistics. 2010, what it's saying is that 25% of black women that are never married are more likely to be married to black women more likely to be married than white women. 25%.
When was that?
It's 2010, according to the Census Bureau. So they haven't updated this yet.
Well,
And I think
that's looking at
process
the fact that the white women actually like it's 3 times the amount of white women. And if you start really looking at it statistically, white women are married opposed to black women to their own race and the other races.
well, yes, they are. Right? I mean, if my man is bringing home more money from a female standpoint, if he's bringing home more money, right, I would be more comfortable. Okay, I would
Well,
be more.
when they date out, they date out. But I will say, in dating white women, because I've dated my fair share, they've never really worried. I will say that they've never really worried about things because they always knew that they would get some money from a grandfather. That's the reason why historically they've used that as a way to keep them from dating black men by saying we will write you out the will. So I get your angle because I've dated enough of them and I've heard enough of that rhetoric in the economics aspect of it to understand that okay, well, you're gonna write her out the will because she's dating a black man. All right. So I do get what you're saying. But brothers still date out and they don't rely on that money coming in from her family and they still do pretty well. I don't see interracial. I don't see black men married out struggling like black men married to black women.
Okay, but let's just stick with, for the sake of argument, right? Let's say black men wanting to stay with black women. Let's say black men wanted to have a family with black women, right? And he wants
Well,
to have 4 kids.
the white woman is doing that job for us. They'll have brown babies. I'm just not being racist. I'm just being realistic. If you are a high earning brother and you um get one of these females from a different culture, that's pretty much you are in America. Who your father is is the race or the it's bigger than that because some people say it's the Jim Crow one drop rule where if your daddy's black you're black, but it's more than that. It's bigger than that. In America they do base your ethnicity off your father, right?
Okay, I'm going with that.
It's because in other countries and other nations, it's based off your mother. This is the reason why other rulers like Hitler was considered to be Jewish because his mother was. But in America, we're different. We're not like the metric system. We're like we don't use the metric system. We use our own system. So whoever your father is the community that you belong to outside of one drop Jim Crow laws. And if white women are having babies with black men that are high earning, yes, they are producing the higher upper echelons of the black community. Like the Bolsheviks, they recreated the Indians. They're recreating white women are helping, and black men are doing this as well because they're helping recreate the black community. And I mean, that's what the whole divestment is about. You're divesting and investing. You're divesting in the women, but you're investing in other women to rebrand and recreate your own community. I think these brothers know exactly what they're doing. I'm not gonna say it's not by I'm not gonna say it's not by design, by a higher scheme. All I'm saying is brothers understand the role that they're playing in this scheme. And if they want a better community, they're opting to do it through the womb of a white woman rather than the womb of a sister that's combative and against them. And if Kevin Samuels is telling black women to stop having babies, don't have no more babies, that's fine. Maybe we can slow up these ghetto ass babies, and then we can produce more babies that we actually want that we'll take care of.
Well, wouldn't that equal genocide?
It's not genocide. It's because I don't think it's genocide because black men still love these children that they're creating. Is it genocide of this like purple color black person that or really darker skin or completely melanated black person? Sure. Where the new black people probably lighter skin and have different color eyes? Probably. But if black women are so combative and just getting education and black men in the top, because at the end of the day, you can keep thinking that the lower end is going to outproduce the top 15, the top 30% of a race, but it won't happen. It won't happen. It's not sustainable to happen. And what happened because you don't see it happening. You see the top 20, you see the top 15, the top 30% of black men, you see their children living to be 50, 60, 70, 80, having more kids, and their kids having kids. And you see the lower end of the black community killing itself. So the lower end of the black community to kill itself off, and the upper echelon of the black community, which is coming through the white womb of the white woman, will live on.
But so what it seems like to me is that money is the driving factor because black women and black men will be together if they earn more money to have more children. And so what Kevin Samuels is essentially saying is black people, if you cannot afford it, do not have children. Here's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Fellas, get off your tushies, man up, demand higher money, higher pay. Now, let's go into some real numbers. We're going to go back to SHRM. So the source for this is Think Now researchers analyzing the current population survey with a joint effort between the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And here's what they found. Black workers make 50 grand a year. Their white counterparts make $10,000, $11,000 more than they do. Asian workers, make $12,000.
And if I was attracted because I've seen a couple of Asian girls that were cute, but I'm really more listening to the Latina and white women. So the Latina women are kind of broke too. They broke as hell too, like a lot of the sisters are. And as a brother that makes, I'm not, I make fairly decent. So if me and a fairly decent earning white woman got together, we probably would fare better than any of those. Well, because considering the whole aspect of things, me and a black woman, we both would have to work too hard, and that would cause a strain on our relationship, and we'd argue. I don't have the attraction like that to Asian women, so that would be an issue. To me, the perfect fit into what I was thinking would be to get a Caucasian woman. Not based off race, it's just based off that I find them attractive. They make enough money. They're cooperative enough. I don't see the and then if I do have a child with her, due to the racism of this country and this Jim Crow laws that they still practice, the one drop rule, and the fact of even over the Jim Crow rule in this country, you are what your father is. My children would still be considered black, and I would have a woman that I would more or less be able to work with, and our money would be we'd be able to work with the money, and she has ties and access to tapping into other money because I don't have to go in there and get that loan. I can go in there and go in there and get her to get the loan. And let's say that she is the breadwinner in a relationship. As the black man, I don't lose if we don't separate. If we separate, I don't lose as bad because I earned enough, but I didn't completely over earn her where I got completely taken advantage of at the end of the relationship like a lot of white guys do. This is why they tend to not want to deal with their own women. And our women don't make enough. Their women take too much. Look, white women take too much from white men. Black women don't make enough, or black men don't make enough to be dealing with black women.
Okay,
So
so
I'm
so
okay. So
let's-
I'm okay with black women going to white men and white women dating black men. I'm okay with that because I date interracially. So I'm personally okay with that. It don't break my heart one bit. But
so now let me ask you this question then. Do you think that the Negro manosphere share the same sentiments as you do?
a lot of them do. A lot of them are dating Indian, which was by the Bolshevik, red-headed white people. A lot of them do say they want to date a sister based off the internet, but based off the complaints that they have, they don't. I'm real enough to come out and say that I do date outside my race. I do have a biracial child, and I probably would, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't have any more.
And I know you, but the community doesn't. Are you one of those professional men? And if so, what type of profession do you share?
I'm a professional man, and I do work in healthcare, and I do love black people, but I have an attraction, and I do reproduce outside of my race, and I so therefore all my money does not go into directly back into black people. That does not mean I don't love black people, but no, my money does not go directly back into black people. It doesn't. But I mean, I support black people and I do everything I can do for black. Actually, I'm not even gonna say that. I'm lying. I support black men and I do as much as I can to help black men. I don't really do too much for black women. And I do love my mom and my sister, but I just don't do a lot for black women that aren't related to me. Like a random black woman, I don't do as much for. I'm more willing to help a black man get a job so that he can start making money so that he can live a lifestyle like me. Cause like when I was growing up, I always like Sidney Poitier and Wesley Snipes, and in cinema and movie they depicted a lot of relationships that I didn't know that I liked those relationships. Oh, hold on, I got hold on. Well, you can keep go ahead, go.
I don't think I'm going to let the brother off the hook because I'm not. Right? Let's just go into a little bit more of this data that Kevin Samuels is talking about because he's wrong. Now, take a look at the black professionals. And amongst black professionals, when they hold an advanced degree, such as a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, or a pharmacist, they make 81.5. Their white counterparts are making 115,240.
That explains
And
even more why you see what you see. You see black men complaining that black women are dating white guys when white guys are making more money, but then you see white women saying that that money don't really matter if the relationship ain't fun, entertaining, and strong. So I mean, I feel like I provide a fun, entertaining, strong relationship, and I make good money enough to become attractive to women from other cultures that aren't going to be as combative with me. I've dated black women. We've had decent relationships, but the leadership, she wanted too much of a say so. When I've dated other women from other cultures, they gave strong opinions, but it wasn't a say so. And I'm not trying to say that these white women are so much better because they come with their own stuff too, but it's more of a say so than I mean, it's more of an opinion than a say so. And when black women start having to make survival money, since a black man and a black woman working together would be survival money, they tend to not listen or follow direction as well. um White women aren't.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to lean into you a lot. Now, I'm not up for the devaluing of black men. What I don't want to do is get away from the stats. So we're going to bring everything that you said, we're going to bring it right back around. As black professionals, 81,559. Your white counterparts, simply because of the color of their skin, out earn you by close to $34,000. An Asian professional, simply because of the color of his skin, is outpacing you almost about $40,000. Now, this is the problem that black women are having because black men don't seem eager enough to go out and produce money that's
But
going to bring in resources.
what I'm telling you, brother.
Instead, what it sounds to me like is easier for a black professional to go out, get money, and when a black woman says anything about that, oh, I'm going to go date someone who's not going to say anything about how much money I'm not making.
Yeah, that's I don't care. I don't care. I don't care how bad that does sound bad, but that's unfortunately true. Um,
It's
it-
unfortunately what you blinked out there.
it's unfortunately true. If you are a black professional and you worked your ass off to get some type of notoriety, and then an easier path or door start opening up to you, you do a lot of times take it and push your. I mean, and I was already interested in those relationships anyway. It wasn't something that I just did. Did me having an education and me learning or being able to make some decent money make that easier? But it wasn't like it was something that I wasn't already interested in. That's what I'm telling you. Cinema, like, okay, I love my dad, but my dad had to deal with, my working, ambitious black mom that I love too. I love her too. But at the same time, I saw Sidney Poitier and Wesley Snipes having relationships that weren't as demanding. It seemed more fun and more relaxing. I saw that as, oh, you the best of both worlds. You make a decent living, a pretty good money, and you have someone that's more fun rather than, you know demanding. And I do see where the demand is for black men to make more money for black women. I'm not going to act like you're not lying when you say that, but it is much more relaxing to make a nice amount with someone that is more fun and not pushing you to take on all these ambitions and conquer all these things. Just really trying to have this more fun with you and enjoy with you rather than push you. I don't think those women push us as hard. They're just happy that we are good earners.
So you
And
guys are settling.
no, we're not selling. If
Oh,
anything, they
that's what it
don't.
seems like. It seems
They
like a black man doesn't want to be ambitious. It seems like a black man doesn't want to be competitive. It seems like a black man just wants to earn some money that the white man gives him, and as long as it's enough for him, he can go out and live his fantasy lifestyle that he sees on TV. See, if you want to know the reason why a black woman is delusional, it's because the black man is delusional. Women are
well,
reactive. Women
I-
share a reflection from us.
how
They
is it?
get it directly from us.
Well,
Now,
how is it
hold on a second.
delusional?
Hold on a second. I want to make this
Okay.
point and I'm going to listen to you. Black men and women are not listening to each other. We was talking earlier. I was talking earlier with someone, and we were discussing how black women start taking the food stamps and kicking the men out of the homes during the same time of women's liberation. See, fellas, you guys keep going on and on about the feminist movement. It's the women's liberation movement that liberated them from the black man, not the feminist movement, the liberation movement.
I think the liberation movement was something that more or less white women wanted, because historically, if you look at Virginia and the interracial dating laws, um, even Candace Owens brings those up, right? With high earning white men and black women dating each other, and they couldn't get married, so they changed those laws. Those laws never affected white women or black men, and they were always against us. Tulsa riots, Rosewood. There's been Asheville. There's been multiple wars fought between black men and white women able to be together and create. So therefore, why is that? There's been much more of a fight to keep black men and white women from dating than black men from dating black women. Only things keeping black women from dating black men is a lot of times, let's say, ego and money. But that is kind of erased when he gets with a lot of women from different cultures, not just white women. Sometimes mixed, sometimes Latina and Asian, but mainly black men tend to go for white women. If you want to be more in particular, black men go for red-headed white women. want to be really in particular.
Now understand something. Because see, we're dealing with this thing called white supremacy racism, which is dealing with the business. Because right now we're dealing with the business aspect of white supremacy racism, but we don't even understand as black men, black males, black men,
We are black men.
right? We don't really understand what this white male is doing. White men are using every single person, place, and thing, any noun you can come up with, as a tool to be used at his disposal to come against any non-white entity on this planet. Which means people that look like you and I. And because of it, what he's doing is using white women as tools to distract you, to come help you come against people who look like you. Fellas,
To a
this is
certain
a
extent.
war.
I disagree to a certain extent because
Well,
when white men and white women reproduce with black people or any other race of people, what ends up happening is their offspring has more melanin or more color. White women know that their kids will be able to blend in with society better. White women know that their kids will be able to take sunlight, this earth better. They don't. I don't see the. I don't see. I understand that. Forget the money. Forget the money. You like the money, but what about a person being happy and getting what they actually like and desire? If
how can you be happy with a group of people that are knowingly discriminated against you, causing you financial problems, and are making sure that the people who look like you can't even have a decent relationship with?
well, there's a thin line
How
between.
can you answer
Well,
the question?
okay, how
How
can
can
you?
you be with these type of people and they are knowingly jacking up your situation with people who look like you,
That's
causing
not
you
a.
to hate each other?
Well, that's not a yes. If that was a yes or no answer, I would. If that was a yes or no question, I would give you a yes or no answer. But the reality of it is, there's a thin line between love and hate. Is there is there some hatred, but yet love in a lot of interracial relationships? Probably yes, yes. But is there some hate and love inside of a black relationship? Yes. So which one would
These
you?
people are causing you, they have waged a war and they are causing black people to hate each other.
I don't think they caused that.
So then who is the one in charge of the money?
We were hating each other prior to
Nope, not at all. Prior to meeting, prior between
well, this is why I disagree with you
before the
because
meeting of black men and white men, are you trying to tell me that black people were just hating each other all over the planet?
what I'm gonna tell you is that's not, well, maybe not so, but what I'm telling you is when black men, you look at the Moors, when black men saw, because you say the Moors gave, you can say that the Moors gave culture and taught people how to wash and separated people from animals and gave society a civilization or a civilization. You can even argue the race of the Moors and who they were. But all I'm saying is when some African, deep descended African men saw some red-headed women cleaned up and pretty, they liked them. And they said, well, I want to be with one. And then they reproduced with them. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes you can say that it's culture, you can say that it's cinema, but there's something inside of people that makes them draw to something. The culture just, the movies, Sidney Poitier, Wesley Snipes, whatever they interracially did in their movies and cinema just highlighted something that was already there, you know? Like you can't make a person be angry. Their anger is already there. You can't make me have an attraction to something.
No,
that,
sir. You can turn the person angry.
but
This
the
is how
anger,
This is
anger
how
was
innocent children grow up, and based on their economic situation or some event that has happened to them in their life, they can turn angry. See, so
all
it's not highlighting something that's already there.
so what you're saying is you're right. Is Kevin Samuels saying that black people cannot afford to um
To reproduce.
we can't afford to procreate. I'm sorry, I got caught up in my words for a second. We can't afford to procreate with each other, right?
Yep.
So if we can't afford to procreate with each other, who are we going to procreate with?
Okay. So let's go back into this. Let's go back into this. And now we're going to get into the crux of things. And I ask for you guys, and thank you very much for your patience. But this is some of the facts, data, and statistics that Kevin Samuels would not dare to pull up on his show. He wouldn't dare. And here it is. So, if the average black man or the average worker, which is considered to be what they call an individual contributor, you have managers, supervisors, directors, executives. This is the corporate scale.
Hey, the man.
Yes.
Can I tell you something real quick, bro? I think I've made a better argument for my lifestyle and interracial dating than you have against Kevin Samuels. I think I've made a good argument for interracial dating, honestly.
No, bro. Here's what you've done. What you've successfully done is made the argument of white supremacy racism. You see, what has happened is that we live in a world, especially here in America, that operates off a principle called socioeconomics. That's society in relation to money. And what happens is that there's a direct inverse relationship based on how people interact with each other based on how much access to resources that they have. The facts are black people are historically poor. They don't want to be poor. So, and this poverty is being driven by white people. And because poverty is being driven by white people, guess what? You're going to be more attracted to white people because you don't want to be poor. That's the only reason why black people are attracted to white people, is because it has a socioeconomic benefit, not a sexual one.
That's not true, because I did not get with a white girl because of how much money she made. I found her to be
that has no relevance.
It has plenty of relevance.
If
it's not
you
about
grew up in a society, and an affluent society with black people, and you loved black people, and there was nothing but black culture.
I do love black people.
You will not have any attraction to white people.
I love
because white people will not have an effect on your life.
It's not white people. I think white girls I find some, not all, but I find some of them to be attractive.
And you may find some of them to be attractive because you find a large amount of black women unattractive. And the reason why they are unattractive is because they come from a system of poverty caused by white people. That's why they're unattractive. See, this is what's happening.
You giving them an excuse, because how can
no,
they be?
It's not an excuse. Here's what it is. Man up.
No,
man up.
Because the black women
say this. How about you keep the white man out of your community? How about you keep him out of your women's faces. How
They're
about
not-
that?
They're not my women.
See? And that's the problem.
They're not my women.
And of course, they're not your women
they're
because
not.
you
'Cause I'm
don't
not-
stand up against white men. In fact, you don't even stand up for yourself.
I do stand up for myself.
Here, black professionals earn less money than their counterparts.
And I
And instead of
negotiate.
standing up for yourself and saying, I'm going to demand more money as a group, not you individually, as a group, instead of you guys saying, I'm going to demand more money, instead, you shut up, kowtow, and go back to work for massa.
How? Because at the end of the day,
The
bro, let me
fact
tell you
data
something.
and statistics prove it.
No, because brothers be negotiating their
No,
contracts.
no, don't say no because we just looked at the data. See, this is part of the delusion.
The reason why you can read is because I hate to tell you, brother, it's not because you're black mama, it's because unfortunately a white woman decided to teach a slave brother how to read. And then eventually,
What are you talking about?
so like
Black people
how'd
know how to
you-
read. What
so
are you
how'd
talking about?
So how'd you get to that money, brother? You was
Black
able to read.
people, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, don't be fooled. Black people is the ones who came up with the English language. It was black people that mass produced the Bible.
But who retaught it to brothers?
It was black people.
It was
What do
black
you
people.
think?
It
Wait
was
a
black
second.
people.
Wait a second.
No,
Wait a
no,
second.
no,
Wait
no,
a
no.
second. Wait a
So-
second. No, because wait. Here's what you would like to have America to believe: that black people were not reading blueprints to build the houses. Because remember, they were the slaves. That they were not writing blueprints, that they were not reading anything. They were the architects. They did everything. And here it is. You're going to try to make it seem like it was one white woman that taught Frederick Douglass how to read. And then now all of a sudden, all the niggas will be able to learn how to read. Knock it off.
All I'm saying is like historically, and this could be, you know what I'm saying, all anecdotal. White women have always done very, very well by me, more or less than. And that's
Their job
happened,
is to do well by you.
huh?
That's their
Well,
job. They're
I-
being used by white men to disable you.
Well, to a certain extent, let me tell you why. To a certain extent, why I want to say
You're crippled.
I won't say you're completely lying because look, one of my homeboys went to play sports at a D1 college. I won't mention, but they had these dandelions or girls that met them at the recruiting part, and it's almost like he got game, right? That really happens, right? Where they have these girls come and do these things for you. Rick Pitino and Louisville was doing this too. They got caught. So to a certain extent, there is some truth to that. But all I'm saying is brothers have found their niche in it. Or brothers,
No, what black men have done was become increasingly complacent and comfortable. That's what has happened. And what has happened is you would much rather switch than fight.
well, it's not about switching.
Well, it's not about switching. Hold on, brother. Let's go on with this show.
Let's go on with it.
For every dollar a white man makes, how much more or less does a person of a different gender or race in a given job level? So
we
if
get
a white man here, which is the control, he's making, all things being equal, $0. As he makes $0, an Asian man is making 28 cents. And Asian women are making 24 cents. Pacific Islanders, which are more Asians, are making 13 cents. Here it is. Black men and black women are at the bottom, with black men making negative 13 cents, which means that as a white man, if he makes $1, a black man is going to make 87 cents. And a black woman is going to make 17 cents. Now let's go with the ladder because we're going to make this quick. Manager, supervisor. Black man, negative 24 cents. Black women, if you are a supervisor, you're going to make 41 cents less. Let's keep going. As a director, black men are going to make 46 cents less, which means if he is a director at a job, black women, if you are married to a director at any place of employment, your husband is making 46 cents less than his white counterpart. Now you see the reason a black man cannot even have a family in this country. And then there are black men who are willing to settle for white women because they are being comfortable with this fact.
I don't think that's
These
true.
are facts.
I think that
Here,
there's
Pay
I
scale,
think-
don't interrupt.
okay, go ahead, go with it.
Payscale.com, data, racial wealth gap. Let's continue. Black women, when you decide to become a director, you're making 54 cents less, which means you are going to work as a director for less than half the pay of a white man. And look, you are going to make less than a white woman, even less than a Hispanic woman, even less than an American Indian woman. These are the facts. So even if you guys decide to stick together, a black man and a black woman, you are not going to be able to afford kids in America. This is what drives us into poverty. And black men are saying, I'm comfortable with dating a white woman because I am not even worth it to fight for myself.
You are fighting for yourself because in America, the children are whatever the father is. So therefore, and fighting for yourself, not worried about whatever you're talking about, black women, whatever, cool deal. My mama, I love her, my sister, she cool too. I'm saying, whatever, fighting for yourself. Your lineage would go on if you put your sperm in another womb, and it'll be fine.
Understand what's happening. This is the reason why black women are being more masculine. He just said it. Black women have to do for themselves because they're not even worth us dropping our sperm in. This, ladies and gentlemen, is psychosis. This is what you call Stockholm syndrome. You are so in love with your captor to where you about assimilated. There's no more fight in you. You will be let out of the house and then come back home. Even when he's telling you at the executive job level as a black man, when you show up, you're going to just make 31 cents less than I am just because of the color of your skin. And you don't even have the fight enough to say, no, that's not going to happen.
See, that's debatable. See, I will always I'm planning on working for myself and having my own businesses. So that part there is debatable. We say fight for yourself, like I won't start my own businesses. I go hard. You know I go
With
hard.
what money?
Hey, I create that capital. You see me working hard. You see me
Where?
getting it.
Where,
You see
Sway?
me getting it. You see
Where?
me getting it.
Where?
You see me getting
On
it.
his job at
That's
less
what
pay.
creating, and I create my own way too. Do I have other ventures too, you know.
This is what the problem is.
The
This
problem,
is
the
exactly
problem, the
what
problem is you're trying to save a community that is already broken apart, bro. That's your problem.
trying to save a community.
It's already broken apart.
Here's what I'm saying to you.
You don't even, bro. Let me tell you.
Okay, so let's even take that as an example.
Let me tell you
The
this,
black,
bro.
the black
I have
community.
one
Come on,
thing to
stop
say.
a
I
second.
have one
Stop
thing
a
to
second,
say.
because you made a comment.
One thing to
You
say to that
made
comment,
a
and then you can
comment.
have it.
And when you make a comment, I'm going to respond. You're going to save a community that's already broken. And what's happening here is when you attempt to save a community that's already broken, we shouldn't do that. Instead, we should just date out and keep it moving. Date out, keep it moving, and don't worry about how much we're getting paid. At least we're getting paid something, which is better than nothing. This is the issue amongst the black men. He wants to be with white men because the black man does not mind self sabotage. This is the Negro manosphere.
No, I don't represent them. I don't represent them. I do
No,
not represent
I'm not
them.
saying you. I'm saying the genocide of black people is what the Negro manosphere represents.
Why would you have to be
Like I
so
said,
flammable? So when the brother say, see, we have stuff like SYSBM, right? Or save yourself, black man. It's or just MGTOW, red pill, all these ideologies. It started a lot with black men saying that we were not we dated black women, it was cool, whatever, blase blase. Hey, it's okay to date a Latina or a white girl. I mean, you on this, you on this, you on this like race thing, and like the black man is on this like I want to be happy thing. I want to enjoy my life thing, and I don't like this simple fact that you want brothers to like take a shot to their life on this like racial loyalty when that loyalty just really
racial
irritates
loyalty.
me. Yes, that's all it is. Racial
Yourself.
loyalty.
Be loyal to yourself because, first of all, you consider yourself to be a black man.
Yeah, but if I have
So
kids,
stand up for yourself.
well, check this. I did this.
Somebody is the facts, data, and statistics say you are getting paid as a professional $500 less than all other men.
So you try to create your own
And you
business.
and you are finding that to be acceptable.
So
That is what we call inappropriate behavior. That's what that's called. Inappropriate behavior. And I'm saying, hey, make some more money for yourself so you can have kids. See, Kevin Samuels is not just saying this for all black women. He's just telling black women this. He's actually saying this to all women.
Actually, the reality is what he's saying is the black men that have that kind of money are probably going to have more and more kids with women that are not black. He's showing that a lot of black women got they've been raised wrong, I didn't come up here to say that Kevin Samuels was completely wrong. Honestly, honestly, can I say that he really wrong when I agree with the end goal of what's going to happen? The end goal of what's going to happen from his show is black women are going to look bad, and white women, and I mean, white women, Asian women, Mexican women are going to look better. I mean, I'm just
Okay, so
saying
let's check this out.
it is what it is.
So then let's say this. Let's flip the roles. Let's do a Thanos because he likes Thanos, right? Boom. Right? Snap your fingers. Boom. And let's reverse the roles. Black women and black men are on the top of the pay. Let's say they surpass Asian men. And let's say for every dollar, they getting paid 50 cents. And let's say the wealth gap between the black men and black women is somewhere around 85 cents. Let's say that.
I think black women will be
worse. Let me finish. So, what do you think the attitudes of black women will be?
Worse.
Oh, see, and that is white supremacy, ladies and gentlemen. That in and of itself is white supremacy. You want to know why?
Why?
Because it's been proven that Asian women and white women and all other women, they seem to have better attitudes based on the pay of their men.
That's not true.
What do you mean it's not true?
All I'm
you
saying
just take
is,
a look at it.
Okay, well,
you don't find their women being more masculine.
Well,
you don't find their women out here doing outrageous things.
Yeah, they do.
And they have a culture.
Yeah,
you want to know why they have a culture? It's because they can pay for a culture. They can afford to have a culture.
They do outrageous things. They do outrageous things all the time. The reality.
What outrageous things do they do?
Or they participate in anything that any other one will participate in. They're not angels. They're not angels by no means.
I didn't say that they are. I'm asking you. What outrageous things do they do because of the lack of finances? Let me ask you this. Are
they probably do things because
are there children out there murdering each other in the street? Is their neighborhoods look ransacked?
No.
Do they look impoverished?
Some of them, not all.
In fact, have you ever heard of an Asian in poverty?
Yes. Yes.
So let me ask you this question because I'm going to look it up because I like facts. What is the Asian rate in terms of being on food stamps?
In America?
To those people.
In America?
Yeah. This is where you get food stamps.
They're only like 9% of the country.
9%?
Mm-hmm.
You sure, or do you want to look it up?
What percentage are Asians of America?
No. What percentage of Asians are on welfare?
It's probably like 1%.
Now, black and poverty is running synonymous. And so you're trying to tell me that 1% of Asians that are on welfare is synonymous with poverty? No.
So you probably more likely get a. So why not get an Asian bride pregnant? Why not? Well, so now you make an Asian woman.
I like Asian woman. I love black women. I like being with them. In fact, they are a much better breed of women than any of them.
I agree.
And we'll go into that on another show, ladies and
gentlemen.
We'll go into that on another show.
See, we're not going to talk about their genetic buildup opposed to like dealing with them in the long-term economics. Because I'm telling you, like, you can get a sliced Wonder Bread version of all of that in these other races of women. I will admit to everything you're saying.
I'm not the type of guy that don't really say, don't come on my show and say that. But you just said a sliced Wonder Bread version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is white supremacy racism. This is the exact reason why we need to make more men valuable. Because they
But
don't
we are valuable.
think themselves as valuable, so you don't think of your counterpart, your female counterpart, as being valuable.
I see her as combative. And
And
I
where do
dated
you
them.
think that came from?
I don't know why she combative for, but I tell you what, I'm not. That's not my battle, right?
It's not a battle. It's
Not
a thought.
mine.
Where do you think it came from?
I cannot tell you the beginnings of it. I probably you would argue slavery. I think it would be probably before that, but you would argue slavery. So I'll let you go ahead and tell me where you think it comes from. Tell me. I want to know where it comes from. But all I know is there are a lot of brothers that, I mean, they're not a lot of brothers, but there's some brothers that do date out. All right. My cousin, and I seen this shit. Now, let me tell you something, bro. I grew up with this shit too. Every brother in my family dated like either Puerto Rican. I have a cousin that's married to a
Bad
Saudi
attitudes
Arabian.
come from trauma.
Nah, man, our family pretty cool, bro. But the thing about it is the brothers just decided to go outside. It is what it is. It ain't a bad thing, man. We expanding the family.
When you have, it is a bad thing. Because here's the number one bad. Here's the number one bad thing. You're not sticking up for yourself.
You're expanding the family.
You're
right?
being bullied financially, and you're not sticking up for yourself.
You're expanding the
If
family.
I was a woman, I would have a bad attitude as well.
You're expanding the family,
And
bro.
this is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, black males are at the bottom of the dating pool of the dating world.
You're lying.
They're the garbage collector.
You're lying. We date from the top to the bottom of the dating pool. I have done very well, brother.
See, and this is what I'm saying. You said from the top to the bottom. Men are not supposed to date anything on the bottom. Scavengers,
man, brothers like it all. We like big women, and I cannot lie. We like white women, Mexican women. We like black women too. I like black. I've dated look, not to make it all about me, bro. I've dated black women. All I'm saying is there's brothers that dated black women, but when they get a chance to date other women that are somewhat cooler, they sometimes go with it, and then they like it, so they stick with it.
Now you have a right to like who you like. But however, when there's not even enough men, because according to Kevin Samuels, you, brother, can't even afford your child, and you're a professional male making $80,000 a year, according to the statistics. I don't know how much you make, but according to the stats, you cannot even afford to have a child.
That's, you know what, and I understand that. That's just why I don't have a bunch of children, and I'll make more money before I have more children. But when I make more money and I make more children, I'm not going to tell you what their mother going to look like.
High valued men, men that make over $100,000 a year, date average looking women and have children by average looking women.
Okay.
The 5s and 6s.
They may be average looking, but what I'm just saying, like, I don't have to have a trophy wife, but I'm just saying for cooperation and the coolness and what works for me and who is intrigued in me, I think that it's projecting that my long-term mate or mates, if I have a bunch of girlfriends, are looking to be, different than maybe different looking than me.
And they would be different looking than you. And the reason why is you're switching.
I ain't switching.
Oh, yeah, you are. You have allowed the white man to dictate how you're going to live. And he just did it economically.
No. See, this is not an economics thing. This is who
Oh
about
yeah, it is.
who you get along with. That's what it boils down to.
You can't get along with black women because black women have to do things that other groups of women don't have to even be concerned with.
You giving them
Here,
an excuse.
let me finish.
Okay.
White women, Asian women, even the Pacific Islanders, they don't have to be concerned with their man not being able to provide for a family. Their income is optional. Black women don't have a choice. Their bodies biologically is saying children, children, children. The resources and the nature is not adding up. And white males have proven themselves, COINTELPRO, all of these other things. Every time a black man attempts to raise himself up, make his socioeconomic situation better around him, there's no let up. He continues to attack and attack and attack and attack. And because black males right now are so downtrodden, so beaten, to the tune to where he sees that another man is making more money than him, and he says, you know what? I'm just going to go be with a white woman because she got a nasty attitude. And that's true. Black women are supposed to have nasty attitudes. It's a sign of pain. And black men are supposed to be problem solvers, fixers, doers.
We have to solve
And
our
if
own.
I was a black woman, I would be ashamed.
Don't think like one then, okay? Think like the brothers, right? You gotta think like the brothers. This is why you are friends with me, my nigga.
There is no way I can have a defeatist attitude.
I'm not defeated, brother. I'm very triumphant in
Understand what's happening, brother. A white man goes out and dig a ditch. A black man goes out and dig a ditch. You are going to get paid 50 cents less than him.
the reason why I don't feel like a true divester is
It's not
because
about a feeling.
no, the reason why I don't think I'm a true divester is because my mama and my sister will never want for nothing. And that's too black. No, my mama, my sister, and the women in my family will never want for nothing. So therefore, all the women, all the black women in my family will never want for nothing they will never want for nothing. They know I always show up for them. So what if I go out here and bring one white girl in? Now, I
But
always
that's
have
not
done
the
that.
issue. That's not the issue.
I bring my snow.
The
I bring
issue is the competition with you and the white man.
no, it's not that. I bring her right to my
Oh,
mama
yeah,
house.
that is it. That's the only thing. You're making $500 less a week than he is.
Well, I gotta make more money then.
Over the course of 50 years, 40 years, you're going to make $6 million less than he is.
No, I'm gonna figure out a way to make more money, and it's not for
No,
his
see,
women.
that's it.
It's not for his women. It's for
Now
me.
you see what the problem is. The white man says, nigger, just because of the color of your skin, I'm going to pay you less. And this man just said, well, I take the money and I find out how to make it work, sir.
No, I will make more money. I didn't say I'll take his money and figure out how to make it work. I said I'll just
How?
make more
You
money.
can barely afford to take care of yourself
I can take care of
with the
myself.
money that you get.
I can. All black men can do that.
See, this is the attitude of the sharecropping Negro.
Okay, here we go. The sharecropping Negro. How
And
can I barely? How
and the
can black
sharecropping
men
Negro was
barely?
getting cheated out of money for doing the same job as a white man would do. He was getting cheated out of money, and guess what he said? I'll do the work anyway, and I'll work twice as hard. and I'll go take this little money and try to flip it here and do this there. Instead of saying, no, I won't take the land, I won't get involved in a situation like this, and walk away and demand higher prices.
But see, that's the thing. That's the reason why I always negotiate my contracts and I get better prices. I'm not doing horrible at all, my brother. And the thing about it is, when
But
you're
see, it's not just you, it's even your black counterparts.
what about them? Well, like they're doing good too. The black
No, they're
black men,
not.
I think black. Look, I saw
Black professionals, and see, here's the problem. Black
bro,
professionals,
let me tell you something.
lawyers,
Let me tell you
business,
something.
pharmacists.
Can I finish what I'm about to say real quick, bro?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I saw a homeless brother today. All right. And my next and like I was like, damn, bro, I should have. And like next time I see him, I'm always gonna keep another pair of shoes in my car because he was barefoot. So I'm gonna give the brother a pair of shoes, talk to him so he can get up on his feet. I don't mind seeing a brother get up off his feet, but at the same time, we do not control what a black woman does. So why hang your hat on that, bro? It's no need to. Let her live her life.
We don't control. We don't have any control over what a black woman does. We don't. We just don't. But you must understand something, that the cowardiceness is what they're responding to.
What coward? This not to deal with it.
Because you are going to take a job that pays you half the pay. That's the problem. You are working for half of what he is getting paid. And that's translated into you not being able to provide for your family.
That doesn't provide that provides to black men having more kids than they can take care of.
No. Because at 41.5, you can't even afford to take care of yourself.
At 41.5, ooh, but you know what?
Ooh.
At 41.5, a black man can barely he can take care of himself.
No wonder why brothers don't want to pay for meals no more.
Yes, at 41.5, he can only take care of himself. You have
not
to
as a middle class man.
You have to make more than
he can barely afford a $200,000 house.
Yeah.
Let alone a car. And that's not it. LA, that's gas. That's gas for the year. So you, in essence,
200 grand is not gas. 200 grand ain't gas. 200. I mean,
$41,000
is not gas.
Listen, if you fill up the car, a 20-gallon tank at $5 a gallon, and you do that for an entire year, run 300 miles a day, that's going to come somewhere $20,000, $30,000 a year. You can't afford to even go to work, Sway. The fact of the matter is you cannot afford it.
The reality of it is that mentality is the reason why you have so many people that don't show.
What are you talking about, mentality? This is facts.
Black men are not.
Get rid of the facts. Let me give you another fact, shall we? Give you another.
We'll go with the facts.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys can see this. The pay scale study found that black men reached their peak earnings at the age of 59 with a median salary of $80,000. While white men hit their peak 4 years earlier at 55, making $104,100. And this is July 26, 2019. Facts.
And what does that have to do with the fact that these women are masculine and men don't want to date them and they want to date out? What does that have to do with
Now,
anything?
with all things being equal, see, here's how, if Kevin Samuels was right and the Negro manosphere was right, here's how this would play out. Black men are earning, on average, 6 figures, hypothetically. If a black man was earning 6 figures and black women still had nasty attitudes, acting masculine, and all these other things, right? If she was doing all of this other stuff and not listening, then the black man can say, well, I can provide for a family. I have enough. I've did my job. I've worked. She just has a nasty attitude for no reason. I'm not going to marry her. I'm going to choose Becky or Mylene or whomever else. Then you can say, with all things being equal, this person here is just a terrible group of people. I don't want to be with a black woman. See, this is where the black man is wrong. See, if he took care of his business as a man, and then he says, as a group of men, we're at the top of the pay scale. There's no reason for this behavior. And then whatever else you do is understandable. But right now, as it stands, black men are refusing to fight white men on wages, allowing the neighborhoods to run in shambles, no leadership, lost people, and then running around saying, well, I'll go be with somebody else. That's what's called you refusing to be a man.
I don't think it's that. I think it's the reality of finding the best way to live the best life you can and with the most productive person.
Why
that
don't you just say living the easiest life we can?
Probably so.
Why don't you just say that? The
Probably
easier
so.
life.
And it's not just easy. It's not because interracial. It's not just easy. It's not just easy because interracial. But I'm just saying it's a life that you, unfortunately, it's a life that brothers have found to be productive. And if it wasn't productive,
It's
brothers
easy.
wouldn't be doing it.
Why don't you just say it's easier?
I would say it's
You don't
productive.
want no smoke with no white man.
It's not about that.
You don't.
It's about being productive. Like if he likes a girl that he can be with, he can deal with, it's productive. And if black men, and I've already broken down how some of the smarter, more intelligent black men have data out, okay, and women from other races are having the babies of the most intelligent, most athletic babies. They're not going inside the
Man is
room.
forcing you into that position. He's forcing you into that.
I don't.
He's leading your life, and
Sure,
you're following. You're
that
drinking the Kool-Aid.
I don't think it's the Kool-Aid. I think they really like the women.
No, it's not the women.
They do
Here's
like
what
them.
you like. You like coming back to your apartment or your house. You like kicking your feet up, the nice central air, the sports center on the TV, the electricity is on, no other responsibility. You just like to put your head down and focus in on you and your life. And because of that notion of easy street is the reason why the black women are having this problem today. I'm not saying that it's an excuse for their behavior. They are reacting to you. The world is crumbling down around you, and you know what you're saying? That world can crumble as long as there's a white woman sitting on my lap.
She gotta
And
have a
that
baby by
is
me.
the
She gotta have a
problem
baby.
of the black man.
She gotta have a baby by me too, though. Not just sit there. You know what I mean? I gotta get one up out of her. You know what I mean?
And check this
I'm
out.
just fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
And check this out. And check this out. Here's the other problem. And here's the reason why we're talking about Kevin Samuels being wrong. Because, and ladies and gentlemen, listen to Pastor $40. Here's exactly what he's saying. I am going to put whatever little wealth that I gather, whatever little resources I gather, I'm going to put it right back into the hands of white people.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm putting it back into my
Oh, no, that's what
legacy.
you're doing. You don't have to
No.
say that. That's
No,
what you're
no,
doing.
no. Because those kids are still black, bro. America, your children are who the father is.
You're
They-
giving them the money right back. They caused the problem for you, and you're paying them for blissfulness because you don't want to come to the conclusion that he's the one that's the problem, because that will require that you do something.
No, no, no. Let me tell you something, brother. Brothers fight back. We're not pushovers. We don't let people just. What do you want? Like brothers we do very well. Like white guys don't disrespect me, run up on me, or do any of that stuff, man. Like I don't.
No, they don't have to. Only thing they have to do is financially castrate you. They don't run up on you. No, they run up on your paycheck. And on top of that, they make sure that you don't even have the resources to defend yourself. So you can't really defend yourself or your family. Or you'll wind up like a man on an island all by yourself. Yes, I could defend myself. I have my bulletproof vest. I have my gun. I have whatever it is that I need. And you're by yourself, outgunned and outmanned. This is a racial problem, which is a economic problem. We have figured that we have solved the social problem. But until you solve the economic problem, racism, white supremacy will exist.
So you can believe in racism and white supremacy and all of that, but do you think the smartest, strongest brothers outside of racism, that's just why I brought up the Moors and all those brothers, they still like them. Like they still like some of those women. All right. Now, as men, we're gonna like women, okay? And I'm just saying, like, they catch your eye.
Understand what I'm saying to you so that I'm clear. It's okay for you to like whoever you like. But in this scenario, you are being forced into liking someone that you may or may not have otherwise liked.
But even when you look at, but so you say forced at it, but even if forced at it, why is it working? You know, why is it working? Why are there a bunch of these little biracial babies running around here?
Because it's warfare.
Well, you know what is working? If you call it warfare, you call it warfare. You call it warfare, but I mean, I guess it's working if you call it warfare then. Because
this is the reason why the white boy calls himself supreme. You see, because he's able to guide your life and then put you in a scenario where you're okay with it.
It's not, what are we okay with?
You're
finding
okay
somebody.
with the fact, first of all, you're okay with the fact of getting shystered out of $2,000 a month just because of the color of your skin. Yeah,
So,
you're getting shaft.
so you,
Because of that extra $2,000 a month, you can start a business. You
but
can invest the money.
but
Or
you're
you can save
asking
it for your own retirement.
at the end of the day, you're asking for someone else to hire you. So you have to negotiate what they hire you for.
But
So
this is
you
what
have to
people
do the
do.
best you can do
Average
with your
people
contract.
go to work.
And then
Average
you
people
figure
work a
out how
9
to
to
not go
5.
to work.
Average people work a 9 to 5.
Okay. What's wrong with that?
And so when you show up on that 9 to 5, just know as a professional, you're getting shafted out of $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. That's what's happening to you.
And I still figure out how a way to invest and
Oh,
have other ways.
so let's talk. So let's talk about prostitution for a second. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about prostitution.
Because I'm sorry.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, because what it sounds like you're saying to me is that I'm good with giving up $24,000 a year, as long as I pay that, and let that be the fee for the white women that I like.
That's not that. What I'm
Oh,
saying
it's not
is,
that. It's not that.
It's
He
not that.
actually has sold his women to you for a price.
I don't
And
buy
you
them.
are accepting the trade-off.
I'm not married to one.
No, you don't have to be married to one. You just have access to them. So that's the fee. 24 grand a year. And so for 24 grand a year, we'll let you marry them. We'll let them sit on your lap. Hell, you can even have a baby with them. So you are going to pay me for that. Just take a pay cut. That's all you got to do. And don't fight me about it. And you're like, okay, I can marry Becky. I can go be with Becky. Hell, I can go be with the 300-pound Becky.
No, I never do that. You know me.
Oh, I can go be with the marshmallow woman.
I have about 2 or 3 Beckys, but I never get married to one, and I never own one. And another thing is, I might have the.
I mean, give me the yeasty girl. That's the one I want.
Nah, none of that. So you going?
This is what y'all doing.
You going? Nah, I'm not doing that.
This is the Negro manosphere, ladies and gentlemen, with Kevin Samuels as its representative.
Nah, bro.
Genocide. Black men and women not being able to afford with each other don't have no babies.
All I'm saying is, if they don't cooperate, they cannot have kids together.
And on the wrap up, to wrap everything up, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to give Pastor $40. His opportunity for his closing statement. And then I'm going to give mine. But first, I want you guys to see something.
And my closing statement, what I'm saying is, you can convolute and you can talk about all this racial, Rachel Dozer and white women being with black men, making a new black community, all this convoluted, this good stuff for conversation stuff. But at the end of the day, man, be with the person that's gonna make you happy. Don't worry about all this. You owe the community and all that. You know what you owe yourself. Man, love yourself, man. You get one life. Be easy.
Thank you very much, Pastor. This life, ladies and gentlemen, we only have one. And when you're having black males who are telling you that you should not have children if you cannot afford them, it's wrong. And anytime you have black males that's saying, well, as a response, ladies, because we're not going to pick up the torch, we're not going to do our jobs to even make sure that we're getting paid fair. We're going to leave that up to you. That is not your fault. What is your fault is your response to it. You have no right to be masculine. You have no right to be destructive. You have no right to be using foul language with us. You have absolutely no right to be anything else but feminine. We hear your opinions. I hear what you're saying. And it's unfortunate that black males as a group don't even want to fight for themselves. It's unfortunate that black males, large in part, have a defeatist attitude. It's unfortunate that a lot of black males don't even want to fight for themselves. They know that white men are cheating them out of money. And this is a representation of the money as a representation of livelihood. And if you can afford to have children. What do we do to solve this problem? Not sure. But what I can tell you is this. Kevin Samuels is 99% wrong. He is not saying that the wage gap in America needs to close. He is not saying that black men need to be at the top of the economic chain for a chance, for a change. So what do we do? The only thing I can do is say, treat each other well. And on that note, as my man Russell Simmons would say, thanks for coming out. God bless y'all. Good night.